Now, let's talk about what happened in Palm Beach, Florida, at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago property earlier today, where a man in his early 20s was shot and killed by Secret Service agents in the early hours of the morning. Is this being treated as an assassination attempt, Josh?
So it's very early, and we don't necessarily have. There was not like a big FBI press conference or anything like that. So we'll probably learn more exactly as to how law enforcement is going to treat this in the days to come. It certainly looks to me like this man had every intention of trying to assassinate Donald Trump and his wife Melania Trump. I believe he actually drove down from North Carolina. Turns out that Donald Trump was actually not even at Mar-a-Lago. He was in Washington D.C. at that time there. The details of the story are such that he had a shotgun and a barrel of
Hmm.
gasoline. One can only speculate as to why he would have a personal tank of gasoline with him there, trying to get onto the premises of Mar-a-Lago. And apparently, when law enforcement saw his weapon and said drop it, and he kept on raising it, that's when he was fatally shot. These people are invariably mentally ill. Think back to
Mm.
Ryan Routh, who was the man, I believe, also who was last seen actually living in North Carolina, who came down to West Palm Beach, Florida, and tried to assassinate Donald Trump playing on the Trump International Golf Course in West Palm Beach back in September 2024. This guy was lunatic off his rockers. He was basically a Reddit comment section come to life. He was spouting off all these platitudes. The question, Rita, is where are these people getting riled up? Who are they listening to?
Mm.
How are they being radicalized to try to take down Donald Trump, try to, tragically in this case, successfully assassinate my late friend Charlie Kirk? Who is inspiring these people who are already vulnerable, already, frankly, deeply unstable, and probably just mentally unwell? Who is taking advantage of these vulnerable people and then trying to instigate them to attack acts or to commit acts of violence? And frankly, that is a very grave question and has a very, very straightforward answer, which is it is elected Democrats, whether it's Tim Walz
Hmm.
and Jacob Fry in the state of Minnesota, trying to kind of borrow the Hamas playbook from the Middle East, trying to get these people to sacrifice themselves in an act of martyrdom for the sake of winning the public relations war. That's what we saw happen with Renee Good and with Alex Preddy there in Minnesota there. Here, we don't know exactly who it is, but I can certainly speculate. I think back to the
Mm.
shooter in 2017 who shot up half the Republican congressional baseball team. That guy, James Hodgkinson was his name, was a dyed-in-the-wool MSNBC viewer. Sometimes, Rita, it's really actually as simple as that. They are trying to get these people to commit terrible, terrible things.
Well, when you have this endless narrative of we're living under a fascist regime and everyone's rights are in jeopardy and Trump is the new age Hitler, then it's not surprising that mentally ill people may take it upon themselves to do something about that. And I've got to say, talk about mentally ill people online, the comments I've seen on pieces about this just again, appalling, but sadly not all that surprising. People saying at least he had a go, he had the right idea, I hope the next one can follow through. That sort of commentary is it seems to be just so prevalent and so normalized among the left. The left has a problem with political violence. We've seen it over and over again, and it's something that is not widely acknowledged, certainly in the media, Josh.
This is the issue that will tear America apart. I'm really not exaggerating when I say that. If there is any issue that genuinely will take this country down, and I mean that very, very sincerely. Look, Abraham Lincoln, my favorite hero in American history, he gave a very famous speech in 1838 called the Lyceum Address in Springfield, Illinois. He was actually only 29 years old at the time, I believe, 20 or 29. And he famously said that America would never be destroyed from beyond, from without, that she would only be destroyed from within and would come essentially at our own
Mm.
hands. Now, tragically, Lincoln actually was quite prescient. He, of course, led the country through the Civil War, where we came perilously close to doing exactly that. But now here we are, over a century and a half after the Civil War, and for many people, overwhelmingly, as you correctly note, on the political left, they have made a decision where they are not content to simply let our political disagreements be hashed out in the marketplace of ideas. They will not be settled at the ballot box. And the day that more and more people finally decide to ditch the ballot box once and for all and to take up knives and firearms, and God forbid something even worse than that in its place there, that really is the day that the American Republic becomes perilously close to just dying off
Mm.
there. Famously, this country was made as a republic if you can keep it, is what Benjamin Franklin said back in 1787 to a curious onlooker there in the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. And it really is up to us to keep this republic there, and political violence could easily be the death knell of this country, I fear.